Good morning, YouTubers. Welcome back to my page. Welcome to the Black Queens YouTube channel with your host, aka me, Kimberly Marson. Now, before we get into this video, I want you to like, click, and subscribe to my page. Okay, now yesterday, I posted up a cook with me video. The original video was 33 minutes and some change. Because of the loader app that I use, I have to condense it down so it could fit into on a YouTube page. So forgive me if the video seemed like it was all over the place, but I'm just trying to be consistent and do Vlogmas. I know Vlogmas is usually happy stories and people going shopping and da-da-da-da-da. But since I already did my shopping, I figured I would use my Vlogmas Day 2 for story time. A short story time. I want to try to keep it under 25 minutes. Okay, so last night we were beginning to talk about my disability. I was born with a disability called cerebral palsy, and it affects the legs and the nerves. It basically means that your legs turning inward like you were walking pigeon-toed forever, to give a nice example. I was born with this disability. When I was little, it didn't. Excuse me, my son is doing online schooling while I'm trying to record. So if you hear something in the background, that's that. But I was born with this disease. My mother and my father did nothing wrong. Although my mother has that gestational diabetes when she was pregnant with me. I know several women get that when they are pregnant. I did not get it, but it's a common thing with women who are slightly overweight or a little bit obese. And if we don't know what diabetes is when your body doesn't produce enough insulin to keep your sugars down. So my mother had that, and when I got delivered, when I was born, I did not have oxygen towards my brain. My oxygen supply got cut off, thereby creating the disability with my legs, without being too technical with what happened and so forth and so on, because I wasn't there. Now, fast forward. Well, we're not going to fast forward. My childhood was pretty normal. You know, I did things, but I wasn't able to start really walking until I was 6 years old. My father had to carry me everywhere because, you know, this was 1985, so we didn't yet have the technology that we have right now that we can, when a baby is born, they can find out what the problem is right away, cure it, get where the problem is, and work with it. This is the early 1980s where they were still figuring some stuff out. So I began my journey at the Shriners Hospital for Children. Then on Roosevelt Boulevard, way up in the Northeast, that's where I had my first surgery to enlarge my tendons. Then I had 2 more surgeries at the Shriners Hospital of Philadelphia, located on Broad Street in Philadelphia. Now, I did go on to a normal elementary school, a normal middle school, and a normal high school. Yes, I got picked on for the way I walk. Yes, bullies, everything. So I went through all that. Fast forward after I graduated. I graduated high school in 2005. Big ups to Hope Charter High School in Mount Airy, Philadelphia. After I finished my education there, I went off to Wilberforce University in Ohio, which I did not finish. I dropped out. Don't judge me. I just wasn't ready. And during that period of time, stop playing with the pillow. Put the pillow down and pay attention. During that time, before I went away to school, in my senior year, right before my senior year, my mother passed in 2004. So right before I became a senior, she passed the summer before I became a senior in high school, which was very hard because my mother was my backbone and she always encouraged me and always made me feel pretty. Now, fast forward, now I'm in Wilberforce and finding myself, but still not knowing who really I am. That's why I encourage parents, don't force your kids. Let them discover who they're going to be when they're home. Because it will come. It may come when they're 30. It may come when they're 25. It may come when they're 35. But you have to give them time. So, I didn't stay in college. Came back. Was going through a whole bunch of stuff. Moved in with my dad. But with the disability side, this story time is about my disability and how I get along. So, my disability is kind of like having pain in your legs every day. Sometimes it's severe, sometimes it's mild, sometimes I don't have any at all. Things like rain, cold, the change of the elements really does affect it. Heat doesn't, but the cold months do. Overextending myself, such things as like Thanksgiving, where I'm cooking and I'm on my feet all day, really plays a part. And I know my limits. I'm still learning my limits as an adult. Stop. Take the pillow off of there. That's not what it's for.
Sorry, Mommy.
So, now, I am 35. I have a son of my own. I had my son when I was 27. Now, if you can imagine, being pregnant already comes with these sets of challenges. Weight gain, heartburn, all that. You're already nervous. Your body's going through a bunch of changes. Now, put that on top of a severe disability with your legs. So, I had swelling in my legs. I didn't gain a lot of weight because I had something called hyperemesis, which caused me to be sick throughout my entire pregnancy. So through my entire pregnancy, I only gained about maybe 30 to 45 pounds, which is extremely low. Because some women gain all the way up to 200 to 300 pounds. Only gained between 35 to 45 pounds. But having a pregnancy on my legs with my increasing belly forced me to be on bed rest a lot. That's what that was. Fast forward, after my son was born, was a whole nother set of challenges. Because, again, nobody in my family knew how we were going to manage. All I knew was that I had a young child, a newborn, that I had to take care of and manage. I did live with my family at the time when my son came into the world when I gave birth. So, I wasn't alone, thank God. But I had my own set of challenges. I had to figure out, even though I was in my room a lot of times when he was much younger, how to get up and pick him up and be confident to pick him up, go to his crib, pick him up, be able to walk him to the other side of my room, sit him down, feed him in my arms, and not have my legs give out in the process. For the longest time, I made my room my everything. I fed, I washed, I changed, everything. I did not start transitioning out of my room until he was about a month, maybe a little over, maybe 2 months. Well, I felt confident enough where I could put him in a carry chair and take him down the steps. I had, unlike normal mothers who are able to get up and take their children downstairs, carry them downstairs, I couldn't do that. I had to put my son in a carry chair, strap him in, and take him downstairs that way. If I didn't have anyone to help me, or if one of my cousins were home or my uncle was home, I would strap him in and everything, and I would set him at the top of the steps, and somebody would come and take him downstairs and put him on the couch or whatever. And that's how I maneuvered with my son. Fast forward, that worked for a long time. But as you know, babies don't stay babies. They start crawling, they start walking, and they start wanting to explore. So when he started walking, I had another challenge. oh my God, my son is going to be running around. How am I going to run and chase him? What if he runs out the front door? What if he runs out the door while the door is open? Because, you know, now it was getting nice outside. It was summertime. I did not want to worry about him having to push the door open and try to run out on the porch. So, we made allowances. You know, we kept the door slightly closed in the summertime to get a breeze.
Look! Dude.
Get out of there.
Got Christmas lights.
Get out of there. You're supposed to be on your school.
I'm still in school. They can see me.
Other than that, we got past that hurdle. With my legs, with every journey, with every stage, I begin a new journey. And with Kendrick beginning to walk and crawl, I had to be on my P's and Q's. So I did what any mother would do. I used things that I needed. You know, I took him outside on the porch. At that time, we had a nice porch. He went in the walker. I had a little string. I tied a string to the walker. And I would control him like that instead of getting up and pushing him and not having to worry about, oh my God, he's going to fall off the step or da-da-da-da. I made allowances. I made ways out of no way, basically. Now that my son is 6 years old, he's more dependent. He's becoming independent, wanting to do more things for himself. So in that aspect is good. Me health-wise, during this whole transition, there are days when I cannot get down my steps. So I have to allow for different allowances. Some days I cook every day. And some weeks rather, I cook every day in a week. Some weeks I only cook 3 days a week. I have to go by what my body is saying. And now in my 30s, I have the stamina of a 80-year-old in my legs. And from the neck up, I would say from the waist up, the mind and the body of a 30-year-old, if that makes sense. So there are days when I'm in the bed all day. I can just barely get up to make dinner and get dinner on the table. That's why some days when I get up, I do dinner, breakfast and dinner at the same time. Meaning that while I'm cooking breakfast, dinner is being prepared. So all I have to do is go downstairs. All I have to do is go downstairs, make myself a plate, unwrap it, put it in the microwave, and we go on like that. There are actual days where I'm in pain 24/7. There are days where getting down my steps, I live in a 3-story house, is a pain. But through it all, I've tried to keep a good heart. I tried to keep a good, positive attitude. Sometimes it's really hard. I think a year ago, I started walking with a cane. It's hard on me because my mind, I'm 30, I'm sexy, I want to look sexy, I want to feel sexy. I don't feel sexy when I use my cane. I feel like I'm a young woman in an old woman's body. So, if you can imagine, that plays a lot on my insecurities because 90% of the time I'm being very transparent. I do not feel beautiful. I do not feel sexy. I do not feel any of those things. Most of the time, I really don't like going out because I don't like people staring at me. I get a lot of looks. I get a lot of stupid looks. I get a lot of, girl, is that your grandson? Or, no, that's my son. And it was a lot easier. I did not need a cane when my son was born because I depended on his stroller. Now my son is asking questions. Mommy, why don't you walk fast? Mommy, you walk slow. He doesn't say things to hurt my feelings, but he's 6, so he knows, and he tries to understand and tries to be patient with me about that. So, that's just a quick story time of my disability and how I'm dealing with it and what it is. There are things that I am doing to make myself feel better on a day-to-day basis. I try to get as much rest as possible. I'm learning that the longer I lay down and stay flat, outside of making sure my son is okay, the easier it becomes. Like last night, I cooked dinner. For those of you who watch my YouTube video, last night I cooked dinner. It's gotten to the point where I cook dinner sitting down sometimes because I can't balance and I don't want to fall. I'm sure weight has a lot to do with it. I'm sure weight has something to do with it. And when this coronavirus hit, like so many Americans, I gained weight. I have not even been on the scale. And I'm honestly scared to step on the scale because I'm sure I gained more weight than I should have eating. But I'm trying to get that under control. So just pray for me. You know, when you see with people with disabilities, or you see somebody on the bus with a wheelchair, or you see somebody walking with a cane, try to be compassionate. They didn't ask to be that way. It might have been an accident. It might have been a birth defect. You don't know what these people are going through. Try to be courteous and kind. A smile goes a long way. I used to take public transportation. I don't anymore because it just gets too much. I only take public transportation when I really have to, and I don't be on there for long, usually. I've had many people be very, very kind to me. My family and my church family, they understand. They understand my limitations. I don't act like I have any, but I do. And that's the hardest part. Admitting to yourself that you're not like everybody else. That you can't roll and you can't do what everybody else can do. But I pride myself on being a good mother. I've always, even if I couldn't get out of bed, it's been days where I've had money, thank God for a debit card. I have ordered breakfast, lunch, and dinner from my room. I keep quick stuff, oodles and noodles, ravioli, hot dogs, stuff that I can make really, really quickly so I can get some food on the table for my son and get back in the bed. Other than that, that's just a little bit of history of who I am and the disability part of it all. So that's today's Vlogmas Day 2. I will upload this video today. I will probably come back on and do another cook with me video tonight. So yes, we're going to be getting 2 videos today. Yay! I'm really getting into this Vlogmas because it's a way for me to be consistent. So I'm going to edit this video and hopefully this video will be up by lunch. Then I'm going to come back on and do another cook with me video tonight. I think I'm going to make tacos. So it's going to be really fairly simple. Unlike the pork chops and all that. Any of you that have